Off you go. Right, so just to recap, so Ricky and the other boy are both out on the water, and Ricky decides to drink all of the water, and the gizmo starts to beep. And every time the gizmo beeps, things start disappearing and turn into water. So his hat turned into water, and then all of a sudden, all of the fish in the bottom of the boat disappeared, and the oar disappeared in the boat as well. So I think we got up to, right, so I'll start reading from here. I don't think so, I tell him. It doesn't like us. It's paying us back. The sun has already dried the last drops from the fiberglass floor of the boat. This is crazy, says Ricky. It's like a terrible dream. If only it was, I say. Look at the gizmo. Worried. The cruel sun beats down from above. The boat rocks gently. We seem to have been in this boat forever. It's funny how time goes slowly when you're not having fun. Once again the terrible thirst overtakes me. My tongue feels like a piece of dried cow dung. The top of my mouth is like a tin roof in a dust storm. Ricky and I slump over, too dry to talk, and there beside us, blinking and winking, sits the gizmo. The terrible, terrible gizmo. I stare at the anchor in the bow, or is it the stern? I don't know. The pointy end anyway. It seems to dance in front of my eyes like a mirage. Beep! The gizmo sounds again. Ah! I fall back from my seat with a cry. Ricky! Ricky! I croak. Did you see that? What? The anchor. Look at the anchor. We both stare at where the anchor had been. It has gone, and in its place is a little pool of water in the bottom of the boat. The sun is already starting to dry it. I look at the water. Do you know what is in my mind? I'm not wondering where it came from. I'm trying to work out how I can drink it before Ricky laps it up. What a terrible thought. Ricky licks his lips. I can tell that he's thinking the same thing. Ricky's just about to dive onto the small pool. He looks terrible. His face is burnt by the sun. His eyes are bloodshot. He's stiff and sore. After you, I say, 3 laps each. Ricky gives me a weak smile. Then he falls to his knees and starts lapping. We both take it in turns until the whole pool is gone. We both feel a little better, but not a lot. Where did it come from? He whispers. And where did the anchor go? I say. Another hour or so passes and the sun starts to dip in the sky. We scan the sea. Nothing. Not a boat. Not a whiff of smoke. Not a sight of land. Only the sparkling, lonely sea. Ricky's clothes are stiff and dry, like the skin of a dead whale stretched over bleached bones. I'm boiling, says Ricky. There's no shade. He tries to pull his hot jeans away from his skin. I watch him sadly, but I'm not feeling much better myself. This whole mess is my fault. The gizmo's punishing me for greed. Does it believe in the death sentence? I can't bear to think about it. I try to push the horrible thoughts out of my mind, but I can't. Ricky looks hungry. He has a wild glint in his eye. What if he goes mad? Mad with hunger. He might think I'm a bit of takeaway chicken. What if I go mad? That's even worse. I lick my cracked lips. I've never really noticed before, but if you squint at Ricky's face, it looks a bit like a pizza. Yes, a luscious house special. His eyes are like olives, and his mouth is like an anchovy. His freckles are like, no, what am I thinking about? Beep! Suddenly my daydream stops. The gizmo sounds again. Ricky sits there, in his underpants, He stares down at his wet, sticky legs. Oh, look, he shrieks. He doesn't know whether to laugh or cry. His legs are covered in cool, cool water, but his jeans have gone. The Gizmo has turned his jeans to water. I try to wet my lips, but my tongue is too dry. The water's already trickling down Ricky's legs. I can tell that we're both thinking the same thing. The water's running to waste. "One leg each," says Ricky. I can't believe that I'm doing this, but I am, and glad to. I fall down and start licking Ricky's right leg. He does his best to lift the left one, but the water tastes of sweat. But I'm not complaining. I'm so thirsty. Ricky kicks off his running shoes. "You can have the feet," he says. I lick Ricky's feet. I even suck his toes. I'm not going to waste a drop. No way. We both start to think. Things are turning into water, I say. When the Gizmo beeps, Ricky says, it must be helping us. Why would it help us, I ask. Because we're dying of thirst. Yes, I say. But we both tried to drink the last drop in the water, in the bottle. We were both selfish. It's punishing us. I just know it. You've got no jeans. Now your legs are going to get sunburnt. But we need water, he says. I'd sooner have water than an anchor. What about the fish? Now we've got nothing to eat. We'll need food too, if no one comes to rescue us. Let's throw it away, I say. The Gizmo's bad news. Let's get rid of it. Ricky shakes his head. It's helping us, he says. Just then a visitor arrives. An unexpected visitor. A seagull. It flaps quietly down and sits on the boat. We both stare at it. A scruffy, one-eyed seagull. You wanted food, Ricky whispers. There it is. A seagull. You'd eat a seagull? I'd eat anything rather than die of starvation, says Ricky. Shh, don't scare it. We better grab what we can now before it gets dark. He quietly moves towards the seagull. It seems to be watching. Closer, closer. He almost has it. One pounce and it's Ricky's. Suddenly he leaps and falls, sprawling into the bottom of the boat. The seagull squawks and flaps into the air in front of us. I stare at it sadly. Beep! The seagull vanishes, just disappears. A tiny flurry of raindrops fills the patch of air where it had been, and then falls like a sun shower into the sea, gone without a trace. Ah! We both scream together. The Gizmo has killed the seagull, turned it into water. If that Gizmo's trying to help us, I say, how come the water fell into the sea? It's not trying to help us at all, it's paying us back. For betraying each other, Ricky whispers. Every time it beeps, I say, something turns into water. Ricky becomes serious. Cal, he says, we have to stick together on this. If we don't work together, we're going to be in big trouble. Everything's turning to water. What will be next? I peer around the boat. There isn't much left. You're doing it, says Ricky. Doing what? When it beeps, whatever you're looking at, when it beeps, it turns into water. Rubbish, I say, but inside I feel sick. Try it out, he yells. He throws one of his running shoes over to me, and I put it onto the side of the boat. Now, says Ricky, stare at it. Don't take your eyes off it. His voice is shaking with fear. I look at the running shoe. It's difficult staring at one thing and not looking away, but I do what Ricky says. The minutes crawl by. The sun sinks lower in the sky, but the Gizmo remains silent. I can't keep looking this up for much longer, I say. I'm sick of looking at this stupid thing. Don't give up, pleads Ricky. We have to know. This is a matter of life and death. Life and death? No way. A nasty thought's trying to crawl into my brain, but I keep pushing it away. This gizmo's hostile, evil. It can do terrible things. The running shoe turns into... Beep! The running shoe turns into water right before my eyes. I can't believe it. There isn't much water in a running shoe, and what there is dribbles down the side of the boat into the sea. What a waste. I lick my dry lips. And we'll find out what happens next tomorrow.